Good morning, children. Today we are going to start our textbook Marigold. As we have already finished Unit 1 and 2, so today we will start Unit 3. And the name of the lesson is Robinson Crusoe discovers a footprint. Actually, the novel Robinson Crusoe is written by Daniel Defoe. Daniel Defoe was an English writer, a journalist and a spy. He became famous for his novel Robinson Crusoe, and the novel was published on 25th of April 1719. Robinson Crusoe was a sailor. His parents wanted him to study law, but he didn't want to do so, and he was so strong-willed and determined that he continued on his voyages as he wanted to become a sailor, and so many times he faced so many difficulties. His ship got wrecked, but then also he did not lose hope. So students, all of us must be strong-willed and determined like Robinson Crusoe. We must have a strong determination. We must have a goal. We must have an aim to achieve. So this story is just a part of that novel written by Daniel Defoe. I shall tell you the story, students. Okay. Now what happened, as the title of the story is Robinson Crusoe discovers a footprint. Where he discovered this footprint? Where he was? So tell me. Once Robinson Crusoe's ship was wrecked, and he found himself lonely on an island. He longed for company, but there was no one there to talk to him or with whom he could share his feelings. What happened one day, near the shore, he discovered a footprint in the sand. He was going towards his boat, and at that time he discovered the footprint. The footprint resembled that of a man. Okay. He looked here and there. He was surprised. He was amazed. Whose footprint it could be? But there was no one. He tried to see here and there. He tried to hear if there was anything there, but there was no one. And as he went near the footprint, he saw it was exactly the footprint of a man. Toes, heel, and every part of a foot. He further examined there on the sand if there were some more footprints, but no, he didn't find. So he started thinking about this footprint, and the more he thought, the more he confused he became. What happened? At last, he decided to go home. Okay. And while he was returning home from that shore, he was so frightened. He was going, but after every 2 or 3 steps, he was looking behind himself frequently. He thought that somebody was chasing him. There was someone who was chasing him. He crossed the bushes and the trees, and he was scared. And as he came towards his castle, towards his den. He ran in such a way faster than any other animal to protect himself, to cover himself, to rescue himself. And he didn't even remember how he entered his castle. Whether he has used the ladder or whether it was the hole of the rock which he called the door. And he was so scared that he couldn't sleep that night. That was a fearful night. And what happened? He was just thinking about that footprint. The footprint seemed to haunt his mind. He thought that the footprint might be one of the savages of the mainland who might have wandered out to the sea in a small boat. But at the next moment, he thought that I was lucky that I was not present at that time on the shore. If that person had seen my boat or me, he might have come with his other friends and would have come and killed me and would have eaten me up. So some days he spent there in his den. He was very scared. He didn't wish to come out. But he prayed for his protection. He prayed to God for his protection. Sometimes, after some days, he came out of his castle. He went forward and looked behind again frequently because the fear was still there in his mind. He was frightened. He didn't get rid of that footprint. After 2 or 3 days, he became a little bit bolder. He was now confident that what I was thinking, it was just my imagination or thinking, but there was nothing else. So he decided to go down again to the shore and decided to examine the footprint. And while examining the footprint, he thought of measuring it with his own footprint. He tried to measure the footprint with his own footprint. And while doing so, he found that the size of the footprint was larger than his footprint. It means the footprint which he saw on the sand was larger than his footprint. Again his fear came back. He was scared. He was frightened. He went home and again started thinking that there was someone on the shore. The island was inhabited and I was not lonely or I was not alone on this island. He thought again and again about that footprint, and a question is there, students, that whose footprint it was. The island was inhabited. Robinson Crusoe thought so. But whose footprint it was? Can you guess? So in our next class, all of you will tell the answer whose footprint it was. Okay? I hope all of you have understood the lesson well. You go through the video, and in our next class, we'll do the word meanings and the question answers. Till then, goodbye.